right now you guys are self-reflecting. How did you feel about 7-1, multiplying a whole number by a fraction? And then I want you to shade in the C for 7-2. And in 7-2, we're still working with multiplication. So we're still multiplying. But this time, we are going to be multiplying a fraction by a fraction. So we're going to be multiplying two fractions. And then flip in your notes to 7-2. And for 7-2, we are going to start by multiplying the fractions using a model. So you can see that I have a model here. So our first fraction is the fraction 2/3. So do you see how I've got 1, 2, 3 columns right here? Go ahead and shade in 2 out of those 3 columns. So you're going to shade in 2 out of the 3. And I'm shading mine in kind of lightly. So shade in 2 out of those 3 vertical columns. And then if you take a look at my rows, how many rows do I have? Yep, rows. 1, 2, 3, 4. Do you guys see how I've got 4 rows there? And how many out of those 4 rows do I have to shade in? 1, because it's 1 out of 4. So I'm going to shade this in really dark. I'm going to only shade in 1 out of the 4 rows. When you shade in 1 out of the 4 rows and 2 out of the 3 columns, how many boxes are doubly shaded? What do you guys think? How many of these boxes got shaded twice? Do you agree that there are 2 boxes right here that got shaded twice? All right, so we're going to go ahead and write our 2. Out of how many boxes did I have altogether? What do you guys think? I had 12 altogether. Good. So 2 out of the 12 boxes got shaded twice. So you just multiplied 2/3 times 1/4, and you got 2/12. Now, we don't want to have to shade in boxes every single time, because down here, do you guys want to have to shade in 12 out of 17 or 5 out of 18? That's a lot of shading that we would have to do. What's a quicker way that we could simply get that answer? Look, multiply, right? In your numerator, what's 2 times 1? 2. In your denominator, what's 3 times 4? 12. So do you see how we got 2/12 no matter what? Yeah. Now there's one piece that I'm missing. What am I missing? Because 2/12 is not my answer. Who thinks they could raise their hand and tell me what's missing? We have to simplify. What are 2 and 12 both divisible by? 2. So let's divide by 2. 2 divided by 2 is 1. And 12 divided by 2 is 6. So it's 1 out of 6 would be your answer. And then we just have 2 examples we're going to do down here, and then we're done with our notes. So I have to multiply these 2 fractions. I have 12/17, and I'm multiplying by 5/18. Before we start multiplying, I want to look to see if I can cross cancel. So I want you to go ahead and circle the 12 for me. That's in the numerator or the denominator? Numerator. And then go ahead and circle the denominator of your second fraction. So I'm circling the 18. So the 12 and the 18 could potentially be cross-canceled because they're across from each other. Raise your hand if you can think of a number that both 12 and 18 are divisible by. What's a number that 12 and 18 can both be divided by? 6. Very good. So go ahead and cross off the 12. What is 12 divided by 6? 2. So go ahead and write a 2 in its place. Go ahead and cross off the 18. What's 18 divided by 6? 3. So you're going to write a 3 in its place. So we just made those numbers much smaller. Now, this time, I want you to draw an arrow to that 17. And I want you to draw an arrow pointing to the 5. Do you guys agree that the 17 and the 5 are across from one another? They are. Yep. They're definitely across from each other. Raise your hand if you can think of a number that we can factor out of both 5 and 17. A number that 5 and 17 can both be divided by. Can you think of any other number besides 1? No, so guess what? We can't cross cancel. 5 and 17 are only divisible by 1. Does anybody know what type of numbers those are? Prime. Very good. Nice job. They're both prime. So we can't factor anything out of them, so we're going to multiply. Go ahead and multiply your numerator for me. Yep, multiply your two numerators. And what are you guys writing for 2 times 5? 10. Good. Now, when you go to multiply your denominator, 17 is kind of a big number. You might not know what 17 times 3 is. It's okay if you use your calculator. So what are we writing on their denominator? 51. Very good. And what's the last thing we need to do? Simplify. So 10 can be divided by 2. Can you divide 51 by 2? No. 10 is divisible by 5. Can we do 51 divided by 5? 10 is divisible by 10. Can we divide 51 by 10? Nope. There's your answer. 10/51 would be your answer. And one more to do together. Who can raise their hand and tell me the first thing that you were trying to do before you multiply? And I'll give you a hint. I'm looking at those denominators, and I do not want to multiply 16 times 21. So who can raise their hand and tell me what we can do to make our multiplication much easier for ourselves? What are you trying to do? Trying to cross cancel. Go ahead and circle the numerator in your first fraction. Circle your numerator. And what number did you guys circle? 9. Good. Now you want to go to the denominator of your second fraction. Go ahead and circle the denominator of our second fraction. What did you circle? 21. Good. Raise your hand if you can think of a number that we can factor or pull out of both 9 and 21. Oop, you're just thinking. Just think about it. What's a number that 9 and 21 can both be divided by? And I'm actually going to have you pair up and tell your table partners in a minute. So everybody get your answer in your head. What can we divide both 9 and 21 by? Go ahead and tell your table. 3. Very good. So go ahead and cross off that 9 for me. What is 9 divided by 3? 3. So go ahead and write a 3 in its place. Go ahead and cross off the 21. And what's 21 divided by 3? 7. Very good. Now I want you to go ahead, draw an arrow to your denominator of your first fraction. So I want you to draw an arrow to your denominator of your first fraction. And what are you drawing that arrow to? 16. Good. The 16 and then what's the other number? The 12. Very good. The 16 and the 12. And this time I want you to show me at your chest. What is a number that 16 and 12 can both be divided by? A number that 16 and 12 are both divisible by. Do you have a question? The answer, show me at your chest, okay? Good, nice job. All right, I'm actually seeing 2 different answers. Some people are showing me the number 2. Are 16 and 12 divisible by 2? Yeah, so they're right. Some people are showing me the number 4. Are 16 and 12 both divisible by 4? Yes, you could do either of them. Guess which one I'm going to divide by? I'm going to do 4 because I'm going to divide by the bigger number. So go ahead and cross off the 16. What's 16 divided by 4? 4. So write a 4 in its place. Go ahead and cross off the 12. And what's 12 divided by 4? 3. Go ahead and multiply. And raise your hand when you've got your final answer. Good. I see lots of hands already. That's awesome. Oh, you're multiplying your numerators and then multiplying your denominators. Yep. So go ahead and multiply your numerators, multiply your denominators, and raise your hand nice and high when you've got your answer. Go ahead and multiply your numerators and then multiply your denominators. Very good. You get 9/28 for your final answer. Nice job, guys. All right. What's to say we get some homework? Yeah. What, do you want to just go on to 7-3 then? And then you could do all of it for homework? All right. So your homework tonight is actually going to be in 2 different places. Right now, flip to your 7-2 worksheet. On the 7-2 worksheet, so you guys should see 7-2 in the upper corner, 7.2. I want you to go ahead and do numbers 2, 4, 6, 8, and 10. And you're going to do number 11, but I'm going to give you the setup for number 11. So 11 says 3/4 x. What does the problem say x is equal to? 2/3, right? So what you're really going to do, between the 3/4 and the x is a hidden multiplication symbol. For number 11, you're simply going to multiply 3/4 times by. Instead of x, you're going to replace the x with 2/3 because our problem tells us that x is 2/3, so we're going to replace the x with the 2/3. So on the 7-2 worksheet, you have 6 questions, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, and 11. Now I want you to flip to the 7-1 worksheet. It's just 1 page prior. And on the 7-1 worksheet, I want you to do 3, 5, 7, 9, and 4. 3, 5, 7, 9, and 4. So you will have 2 pictures to upload to Google Classroom tonight, 7-1 worksheet and the 7-2 worksheet. And you have like 15 minutes to get started right now.